So that covers all of those. So to get on our general fund budget for FY22, preparations began with us all meeting with principals and directors, getting their needs and their wants. And then we also received our midterm allotment sheet for FY21. Those funds increased $635,000. We have a healthy fund balance. We are debt-free, and we are earning and not paying any interest. So that's all good news for our FY22 budget. So this slide is a little different. We have the first meeting at the top, our second meeting, today's meeting at the bottom. So you can see the change in our local revenues. At our first meeting, I projected local revenues to be $22.149 million, and with a 6.76% increase, but our current projection is at $22.862 million, so that's a 10.2% increase from our last year's local revenue budget. Our QBE budget is the same as the last meeting that we had. We have our FY22 initial QBE of $13,829,509. That's a 2.47% increase from our initial allotment for FY21. So that did not change from our last meeting. We have our 11 years of QBE earnings that was presented at the last meeting with our amended formula adjustments and the less local 5 mills, which we note has continuously increased because our property tax values have increased. So that decreases our total state funds. And we still have not received our sales ratio study, but we have received our preliminary numbers from the tax office. So this is new for this meeting. The Fannin County's preliminary net digest is $1,752,530,250. It's a lot to get out. So try to get it out correctly.
Yeah.
Our preliminary rollback rate is estimated at 10.158. And based on these numbers, our preliminary levy, less the 2.5% collection fee paid to Fannin County, will make our levy $17,357,147.22. And if the current data from Fannin County remains the same, we recommend going with a rollback rate of 10.158 for 2021. Now, in our August meeting, I will present you our 5-year levy history, and I will present the form where we will advertise, and it will have the latest up-to-date digest numbers that I can get like around July 31st. And then we will also decide to when we're going to approve those. Yes, sir?
Say that again, the rollback.
The rollback is 10.158.
Where's that rollback from?
It is from 10.391. So this is our millage rate over the years, and since we've not set the levy, and we don't have, that's our estimated rollback number, I don't have this on our table, but we are currently, our millage rate is 10.391, and we project that our millage rate will be 10.158. So that is a good thing to be able to do, is to roll back the millage rate. So, and this is our millage rate over the years. So to continue, Dr. Watney, as I had said before, and I have been working on the general fund budget, reviewing employee compensations and requests, and we performed a thorough analysis of our classified personnel salary tables. And we had discussed this project 2 years ago, but COVID-19 stopped us from completing that project last year because the budget cuts and because spending was frozen until now. So we've been working on those.
That is apart from the splosh.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
so
sir.
Those payments we've been getting, what you call it?
QBE and our general fund is completely separate from our
Right.
SPLOST, because our SPLOST budget is a separate budget from general fund and special revenues. So in our review, we found that we needed to update all of our classified salary tables so that the number of years and the step increment percentages are the same across the board for the salary tables. We currently have some salary tables with only 10 steps, others with 20, some with 25 or more, and some classified employees not on a table. So that's what we've been working on, and our current tables had step increment percentages that were all over the place. So here you have 12 examples of our previous classified percent step increases. So this is not the salary table, this is the percent increase between step 1 and step 2 of these different examples of tables. So you can see that 2 tables had only 10 years experience. Some tables had step increases to 25. If you look, some only had a 0.66% increase, some had a 1%, some had a 3%. So literally what we've done in redoing all our tables is changing this so that there's 2% between each step. So we've taken our current classified salary tables, all that we could, we added 1% across the top, across the board to increase to step 0, and a 2% step increment was applied to each step after step 0 up to step 21. Bus drivers have a separate state scale, so their scale still goes to 30 years because it's separate and we add to it locally. We've completely redone some classified salary tables to make sure they're competitive and in line with what the job normally pays. And we have created as many classified salary tables so that employees can be on salary tables. So to present some historical data for both classified and certified, you can look and see the years 2000 all the way to 2022, and you can see the classified employees. And typically, generally what all districts have done when the state decided to change the state pay scale and give raises, that's when the classified employees also receive raises, because if you remember, we were not charter systems. So we had to follow what the state said as far as the salary schedules. So, and that's typically how that's always has worked in the past. So that's just that past history. You can see in 2010 when the economy collapsed, the state came and cut everybody's money, so every district had to have furlough days. It wasn't just one district, it was across the entire state. But you can see it when the economy started to recover. We've had the supplements in 2018 for all employees, 2017 a 3% one-time supplement, and then 2% increases for classified in 18 and certified, 1% in 19, 2% in 20. Certified scale increased $3,000 per year in 20, and then this year $1,000 for all current employees, $2,000 local retention bonus, and the local teacher supplement. You can see when those scales changed, and we are proposing to go to 8% on our local teacher supplement.
So let's go back to that scale.
Okay.
And you did a good job explaining that, but you can see the years on the left, and then sort of what was done for classified employees, as who's going to explain in the next column, and then the local teacher supplement is at 4%. And at the top, you can see what's being proposed. We're currently at 6%, and it's proposing to take the teacher supplement to 8% on that scale. You can see that we all remember the crash, and it affected us. And back in 2010 is when it really caused us to have to realign. And you can see that it was a 2% decrease in the supplement, and you can tell that was not recovered until the FY 2016 by 1%, and then returned on the 19 to take it back to 6% where it was pre-crash. And so I think this shows a lot of things. One of the things that it shows is how Fannin County has grown and how financially blessed we are now compared to 20 years ago. So, what are any questions about this particular piece of information for the teacher supplement? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
So, since we're redoing all the scales that are classified, I was trying to give you 9 examples of what the proposed percent increases for classified scales would mean to someone. So this is just step 5, step 10, step 15, and step 20. A classified employee, if they work 120 days, would go from step 4 to step 5. But only the comparison I'm giving you is step 5 to step 5. So step 5 with the old scales to step 5 with the new scales. So employees that are classified on both scales would receive that much of an increase plus the step increase. Step 10, step 15, and step 20. So our employees that are the most senior employees will receive the largest for redoing all of these scales. But they're very valued, and we're making everything as competitive as we can. And what we're proposing is to increase our substitute teacher pay from $78.80 per day to $100 per day in our FY22 budget. And we've also built into that budget a 2% increase in the local teacher supplement, proposing the increase to go from 6% to 8% for FY22, and this helps bring us in line with our neighboring school districts. Our benefits, I went over this in our last meeting. I've not received any updates, so I don't think there's any changes to these benefits or the cost of the benefits. So we're still providing the health insurance coverage for single at $72.45 and the dental coverage for single at $27.73 for every employee. So that's a board-funded insurance benefit worth $1,202.16 per employee per year, and a benefit for working for the Fannin County school system. And we're very thankful that the board provides that. And just an average of participants, 447 positions, that would be $388,000 for health care and $149,000 for dental insurance. Our TRS rates I had presented before, and they have not changed. We're at 19.81. And then that brings us to SPLOST, which is really about the same as what it was. And we can go ahead and pull up our advertised budget.
Let's pause before we leave this presentation. Let's just go back to the board. Do you have any questions?
I'm just pleased that y'all saw fit to do this. I mean, as far as security for our employees, it has to be impressive to them. So, I think it's great.
I agree with you. Thankful that we're blessed to be able to do it. Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
And I can quickly go through this because we still have time. This is our projected SPLOST expenditures for transportation, curriculum, media, technology, STEM, photocopiers, and facility and property. So our SPLOST revenue was $6.331 million in FY20 and projected to be $8.514 million in FY21. Our projected SPLOST revenue for 22, I've projected just $720,000 per month for 12 months. So that's $8,640,000. We have a projected fund balance at June 30th of $7,856,960.08. That is without accruals being factored into there yet. So we have projected available revenues of $16.596 million and projected expenditures of $13.248 million. And that would leave us with a projected fund balance at June 30th, 2022 of $3,348,215.
What protects that? I'm sure state legislatures would love to trim back state funds because we have this. Why don't they toy with it? Why don't they?
Well, they are partially. If you want to back up, Mr. Inslee, to the slide that shows the local fair share less 5 mills. You can notice that because of our property values, that it's not that we actually lose it, we just don't receive it. That's a lot of it. Let's look at that total real quick.
And that affects our general fund.
Yes.
But they really haven't passed any legislation that I know that can touch our SPLOST, because those are locally county passed.
Yeah.
Right. But
We may have,
You
we may have,
passed it.
yeah, we may have not passed it, Mr. Enzel.
prior to the SPLOST though, local funds paid all of those items.
Everything.
It
Every bit of
did.
it. And that's a
Keep going.
massive amount of money.
One more.
There it is. Yeah, so we're currently, notice the value of our, you can see as the QBE earnings have increased, as our property values have gone up, so has our less local 5 mil share, because the value of the mill in Fannin County has increased. So we're currently at over 7.3 million that's being withheld.
With that rollback that you talked about, it wouldn't be possible at all without that, would it?
If we didn't have what SPLOST provided,
Right.
it would be very difficult
Yeah,
to
we-
go with a rollback rate.
We certainly couldn't go with the rollback rate and offer what we offer our children.
So that's, to me, that's an incentive to vote for it.
Yes, and that's what I was going to answer your question. I think that's the power of preserving that is the vote.
And I think that's what preserves it, that everybody can have SPLOST, and they can, because each county gets to vote it.
Yes.
So,
You want to show the other?
pull up the advertised budget. It's attached there too. It should be under that second tab. Do you need to refresh? There we go. The second one. That one. So this, I'm not asking for your approval to advertise this. This will be in the regular meeting that I'll ask for your approval to advertise this. But this is our general fund budget, our capital projects budget, and our special revenue budget. So you can look at all three and see total estimated revenues for general fund is 36.992 million. Capital projects, 8,740,000. Special
Hang on
revenues,
just a second. Don't jump past that second column of debt service fund.
we don't have any, which is good.
Yes. Not every district can say that.
That is very true. That's a good thing to leave in there, to remind you that there is no debt service.
Exactly.
But our special revenues is at 10,041,814. Those special revenues is school nutrition, pre-K, Title I, Title II, CARES money, all our federal different programs, and I couldn't list them all without leaving out one. And I was going to make you a slide with all there, but I didn't get that in there this time. So that's our special revenues, and then you can just scroll down a little bit and see our expenditures. For general fund is 37.980. So we are proposing to use 988,000 of our fund balance for this next year, but I think that is very much in line,
It's reasonable.
especially in what we're accomplishing. And then we have our fund balance for SPLOST and for special revenues. And the only reason there's a special revenues fund balance is due to like school nutrition or some other special revenues like that. So that presents then our estimated fund balance for 6/30/2022 of all three funds. And that presents our advertised budget. And I did finish.
Oh, you did great. Yeah. What are any other questions or comments? I'll just take a moment to brag on Susan. I'm so proud of her financial leadership over this. It's a major undertaking to revise those scales for classified personnel, but to get the classified personnel pay scales to a point where there's predictable growth and respect paid to service to the district and experience. And I appreciate that very much, the work that she's put in and your support to allow that to happen. All right, so we've got a few minutes left. Let's take one more check to see if we have any public comment for budgetary purposes. Mr. Ruth, can you check on that real quick?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chair, with that, I recommend that we can just go into recess for a few minutes.
We vote on?
Yeah.
This time, can the chair have a motion for us to go into recess?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Aaron, you can go ahead and take us off for just a moment, and then we'll just stand in recess until either we get